Okay, so this will just be me rambling for a bit, and I'll probably intercut clips of me for background footage. But yeah, this is my overall first impressions with this game, and why so far I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I definitely see the potential. I guess for starters, we can go with just how the class systems are and how they feel currently. I feel like light is really good for maneuverability, especially around the map, like movement wise. But so far, it's I feel like it's a glass cannon kind of build, but more so on the side of very very fragile. And it's kind of a class that unfortunately you can't really have that great of a support role because you're either dying incredibly quickly or it's you ultimately just have to play like really selfish to just survive. Your damage output for the weapons you have is really good, but unless you're that class that's just really trying to be aggressive and make the pushes really happen and have the support behind you, like medium either healing you or a heavy protecting you. I don't know. It's just a really difficult class to play, especially solo queue, and just to have people kind of work around you. For the medium class, I would say that it's kinda in a good spot. I feel like it's just lacking on a lot of maneuverability and like movement options. Given, I guess the light class is supposed to be more of that, but the options that we do have are pretty decent. But I wouldn't say that the options that are available are as good as compared to something like a light class or even the heavy with like this charge ability, right? Because I feel like the jump pad is it's really good, but it sends you more up than forward. And so I find a lot of situations where like unless I have something that I can like angle to jump pad off of, like the edge of a roof, like the slanted roofs you find in some maps, it's really difficult to kind of be more of like a forward push or be able to like maneuver more, I guess, horizontally. You can go up pretty well, but over is like the issue. And I guess that's what the zip line is meant to kind of cover, but I find a lot of situations where I don't have the chance to really use a zip line, or it ultimately works against me unless I take time to destroy it. But the rate at which it can get destroyed for what the medium class offers, is really difficult. I find a lot of times I just kind of say forget it and leave the zip line there just to help my team in a push or whatnot, but ultimately it ends up working against me when like another team uses it to like third party. So but taking the time to destroy it is like it really takes a bit, unless you have like heavy, you can kind of rely on them to like maybe RPG it or have something, or like a light with a breach charge or a heavy with C4 or something along those lines. But usually the zip line, it's good for a lot of situations, but I struggle with like finding areas to use it and have it to be in a good enough spot that it won't immediately be used by another team, the third party. Yes. Weapons overall, I won't really say too much about weapons across all the classes because I feel like that's where this game is currently struggling, is just the amount of content that's been released on launch. So I mean, all of the weapons are really good and balanced for what they are. Some more so than others. Wouldn't say anything is too inherently OP except maybe the light shotgun, but that's just more you knowing how to play the light class really well to be able to utilize it to its full potential. It's not just kind of OP off the bat. Heavy class, I haven't played much of the heavy class. I would say though it's a very stable and reliable class, and I'm not personally one that like enjoys the more slower defense type movement, but I will say heavy class is really good for really getting in and destroying an area or defending cash out, or being able to just kind of be that like forward shield in a lot of moments in time. And I feel like it really pairs well with like the medium and heals, right? So heavy kind of tanks and medium is just a healing, it's a support class. I play a lot of a support class kind of medium build in this game, so I've run across a lot of heavies that are really good with their classes. But me personally, I haven't really touched it that much to really speak on it too much. But from what I've seen in like videos and stuff and other content creators with the finals, it seems like a pretty pretty solid class, you know. I wouldn't say too much needs to be changed there. Although I will say the nukes have been annoying, and they supposedly nerfed them. If you don't want to nuke, if you don't know what a nuke is, it's, you know, taking one of the barrels in game, putting a bunch of C4 on it, picking up and launching it at your enemies, and, you know, C4 on top of the canister's explosive damage essentially like insta kills you. And they've quote unquote nerfed that, but it hasn't been like super duper, you know, like it still happens, you know. It's not out of the game, it's just it happens less often, which I guess that's what they were trying to aim for with this nerf. But I would have preferred it if it just couldn't be done altogether, but it is what it is. Outside of that, the general gameplay loop for this game is, it's understandable why so many people dropped off after a while of this game, especially at post-launch, because, you know, there's not really many quote-unquote game modes in this. It's really just kind of one game mode, technically two if you look at it in a certain light, but it's mainly just, you know, you pick up a cash box or out of a vault, which is like this box of money, I guess. Take it over to a cash out station, defend said cash out station, rinse and repeat for certain durations of, you know, gameplay time. You know, quick cash is just you do that twice, get to 20k, you're done. Whereas tournament is more so, it's a bigger goal to get to, and it's a lot more of defense, especially with the multiple rounds. You know, you do that to, I think, like 40k or until the game ends, so you kind of qualify in like top 1 or top 2, and you do that for like 4 rounds until it's like 2 teams versus each other at the very final round. And then I think it's just like a kind of a quick cash out ordeal where it's just like 2 boxes, first to 20k wins. That's how like the tournament usually ends. Outside of that, ranked is pretty much identical to the tournament game mode, but that's just a lot more sweaty and a lot more, you know, people just camping and cash out and spawning as many like C4s and mines and gas and everything. You know, it's a very difficult game mode unless you have the perfect like team comp and like players to rely on. Otherwise, you know, you're struggling for quite a bit. Outside of gameplay, what I mainly don't like is just, you know, the overall feel of the game. I feel like there's a lot of areas that need to be more polished, like general movement capabilities around the map. So far, it's just mainly jump pads and zip lines is what you're gonna encounter. I feel like there needs to be more overall. I do like it when the game, there's these like modifiers for your matches that'll come up sometimes. Sometimes it's like a meteor shower where like meteors come from the sky, or there's like an alien invasion, which I guess I'm not certain at all what the alien invasion is supposed to do. I think it shoots lasers and then has like this tractor beam, but I don't know. A lot of times alien invasion happens and I just completely end up ignoring it because I'm just like, what is even happening? You know, like it doesn't really affect the match as much as something like a meteor shower or the orbital lasers, which is, you know, if you stand still, you'll get hit by like a satellite laser, I guess. It's actually kind of really nice in the situations where you need to like destroy something below you, like you need to, you know, get in through a roof. You don't have any way to really, you know, you're not like a heavy with like a rocket launcher C4 or like a light with their ability to like the breach charge. Or, you know, medium class is another thing about medium class, is that it's kind of lacking on the abilities to the ways to destroy stuff. You know, you got your frag grenades and your pyro grenades, which are really nice, but, you know, nothing really super big that you can like, you know, nuke an entire wall. Which is kind of weird that like light class has more capability of like maneuvering through the map, destructive capable wise, like with their abilities to like destroy stuff. But medium class is kind of lacking, yeah, which is another thing. I'm just not too big of a fan when playing medium. That's why I kind of defaulted to being more of a support class kind of build. But the main one I want to talk about is low gravity. That one is like really fun and definitely aids with the maneuverability in this game and the feel. You know, at times it can be kind of annoying when, you know, you don't want to like jump or like land on a jump pad, and like you get sent flying like 50 feet in the air, and you're kind of like stuck up there, and it makes you, you know, vulnerable at times where like teams just kind of beam you out of the air. But outside of that, I do enjoy the aspects of being able to, like if I need to push a team that's like really up high on like a skyscraper, high-rise building, I can just, utilize low gravity with my jump pad or medium and, just fly right up there. I haven't really done too much gameplay of light or medium on the low gravity modifier for the map, but I will say it's pretty fun with medium and jump pad. Jump pad is the one I use most. Zip lines, I said, are kind of a struggle. They're good in some situations, but majority of the time they're kind of used against you. So build I usually go for when I'm playing medium is like a healing beam, AKM, or the FCAR. I think it's called FCAR. Defib, jump pad, and then pyro grenade. Pyro grenade comes in clutch when you have to like kind of try and protect the cash out. I would join the gas like grenade that I think is available also on the light class, but it usually turns out to be something that kind of works against me, because if I'm trying to like push up to like steal a cash out and I want to kind of keep the cash out isolated while I'm like fighting off nearby teams and then dive in, try and steal it, the gas will officially be like harder to avoid and be more of an AoE that'll ultimately just take me out a lot quicker than a pyro grenade. A pyro grenade is a lot easier to kind of work around fire wise, and you can kind of get it to like spread to other stuff and like leave the area, or be able to easier move the cash out if you need to with like a jump pad or like a grenade or something. You can like nudge it out of the fire easier than you can out of the massive cloud of gas. I've kind of inadvertently lost a lot of games when, a team either throws gas on their cash out, or I ended up hitting like a gas canister or a gas mine and I'm like trying to steal, but I'm like dying so quick, and without another medium to kind of like heal me through it, like they're healing me, it just ultimately becomes this thing where like, very good strategy keeping other people away, but it kind of sucks when you're trying to like push for it and steal it yourself. That's why I kind of prefer the pyro. It's also really good in situations where you like kind of block off an area to prevent other people from pushing in if they don't just kind of blow around, explode their way around it. I will say that that's a big key factor in this game that I really have enjoyed the look of and feel of, is the destruction in this game. It has been this incredibly like well done, just very intricate, super expansive at times. Like it just feels like you could really just nuke an entire building at any given time if you really want to, which i.e. the whole nukes themselves and why they were kind of created. Besides being able to wipe entire teams with a single explosion, it can really nifty to like blow a big chunk out of a building to be able to like push through. And there's a lot of times where it does become annoying, right? Like you're trying to like hold onto a cash out and they blow up the floor below the cash out and it just falls into this mess. Or it's those like cash outs, I forget what map it's on, but there's this map where there's certain cash outs are like on these like suspended platforms, and it becomes really annoying when you're trying to like defend the cash out there, because that entire platform could just be knocked down. Destruction is very like just a lot more than what we've seen in any other game with this kind of like graphic fidelity. Only other series that comes to mind is like the Battlefield and Battlefield games, and this game was apparently spearheaded by devs of past Battlefield game. I think it's people said Battlefield Bad Company. You definitely see it. You definitely see the destruction and the overall like feel of being able to like just like every building is practically just made of paper mache. Like it just feels just very easy to just like go through a building and just tear it apart and just have like this crazy epic battle of just rubble and explosions and entire walls crumbling and floors falling through and ceilings caving in. Becomes very chaotic very quickly, which is something I've noticed about this game. Is this game's chaos and the hectic and how fast things can just kind of go wrong, or how quickly shit can hit the fan. It's interesting to say the least. A lot of times it just ends up being a lot more annoying than cool, but there are those moments where it's like it feels very cinematic. But yeah, overall, from what I've heard, apparently they're going to be working on the game even more come season 2 and further beyond, But currently, what we have in season one is, I've heard people refer to this as like a paper launch, like kind of, it's just to get the game out the door and, into more of a stable, accessible, not in like a closed beta sort of ordeal. And I definitely see that. I feel like overall the game has a lot of potential to be really good, but it's lacking on a lot, and I mean a lot of content that you would see in plenty of other games, and really just have that that feel of just like, I got a lot of stuff to do. Like there's, I feel like there's potential for more game modes, potential for, different kind of feels of like gameplay loop. There's maybe, more ways to be destructive, more items in the game, more guns, more weapons. So far, I will say though, it's kind of a bad look slash, not too great of a thing that the cosmetics have been kind of pushed in the way they have been. It feels like they want to have people soon as right out the gate try and like spend money on the game. They've already got a battle pass out and everything for this first season, and that's just kind of it stops them from having this game be paid, which I don't think. I feel like the drop off of player count would have been even more so given if this game was paid, and people would have been calling scam left and right. And how gamers are when if a game isn't 100% as they have it hyped up to be come launch, and especially it's just something they have to pay for. I would say this game is far in a better state, and especially come launch in the history of other games and how those launches went when they were paid for this being a free-to-play game. But yeah, I'm not certain why cosmetics have been kind of paired with this initially. I feel like they maybe could have pulled back on that and kind of went the route of putting more effort into more content. But everyone's saying that more is going to show up and more is going to be kind of pursued and expanded upon come next season, and that's going to be like really make it or break it for this game. I'm guessing they wanting something more like a loyal fan base, get through the initial like what would you say, initial like low, like initial like get through the initial release and initial like receiving of the game, and just kind of hang low for a bit, just wait it out and just see what this game can become of, because it feels like there was a lot of people who initially rode the hype into the game's launch, checked it out, it wasn't much to do, a lot of potential but just not much to do, and they kind of just dipped out and already cried that this game's going to be dead without ignoring the fact that like there's more to come, right? The game technically, I guess, is still in development and still is like releasing stuff, right? It's kind of a similar model to this game has been compared to games like Apex Legends, right? And with the kind of their seasons, right? Or just any other game that has like kind of a season to season structure, right? Each season just bring more and more stuff. So this game is just in its infancy right now, and I feel like a lot of people were expecting a lot more of a full-fledged experience at the beginning of this launch, and it is for the most part exactly that. It's just lacking on a lot of the a lot of stuff that they probably didn't want to like try and put into the game early on, and just kind of stretch it out over more timeline, and just kind of introduce more and more, I guess, overall loyal players that are going to be able to kind of stick with the game and ride it along to the end, right, or into the future. So yeah, overall I'm not the biggest fan of this game currently, but for what it is there, it does make for really good, fun, quick entertainment, and I do pick it up every now and then when I'm bored and feel like I don't have anything else to play. But will this become like a mainstay in like games library in my gaming kind of circle, my rotation of games that I play? Probably, we'll just have to see. But Currently, I'm not the biggest fan of this game yet. Yet. Keyword yet. I feel like it does have a lot of potential, and if the devs play their cards right, then this very well could become a very big, hit of not even just this year, but of years to come. And it very could well become that kind of game that like everyone plays all the time, like a Valorant, Overwatch, Apex Legends kind of game, there's potential room for, very addicting. You're trapped in this game 24/7, and you find friends, you join discords, you have your key groups you play with, sort of thing. But as it currently stands, it's just kind of underwhelming, but hopefully that will change in the near future. So yeah, that was just my bit of a ramble video of how I currently feel about the finals and my first impressions. I feel like there's some things that are going to be soon to change, and some things are probably going to be changing far in the future, but will be for the benefit of this game. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that long-winded ramble session, and yeah, have a good day. Thank you for watching. Bye.